The 2025 FIFA Club World Cup will be taking place in the United States, in Miami, and the opening match will be on the 14th of June when Al of Egypt take on Inter Miami. And of course, there's been many talk about the Club World Cup, criticism, talking points, predictions, pros and cons. And of course, that's all I'll be giving to you guys in today's video. So welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'll be talking about the Club World Cup, breaking all things criticism, predictions, and every related topic to the competition that kicks off real soon. So of course, I think I have to start with the cons, the criticisms, and the first topic that is on everybody's lips, of course, is the fixture congestion and the impact of this tournament on fixture congestion. And this has been a long discussion that spanned well over a year or maybe 2 years. And of course, you've had high profile footballers and member associations of FIFA and league bodies talking about it, basically threatening to take legal action against FIFA. You've had FIFPro, the body that represents all professional footballers worldwide, coming up to say that they would take legal action against FIFA if their concerns are not addressed. And of course, FIFA responded to these actions. The FIFA president had meetings with FIFPro, and eventually FIFA said the concerns issued by FIFPro are noted, but the Club World Cup, basically, FIFA said there's no need for the concern, basically, because FIFA has said that the competition has been organized within the international the international football calendar, which is something I do not agree with. Just because it falls into the calendar doesn't necessarily mean that it is right or it should happen, especially in this time when there's so much talk about the fixture congestion and everything. But of course, this tournament is going to hold anyways, so there's nothing that can be done about that, and we just have to get on with it. And so that's enough of the cons for now. I think that's the biggest issue under the disadvantages of this competition, and we have to go to the pros, of course, because there's good in everything. And one of the pros, of course, is the extended format. 32 teams will be competing in this competition in the Club World Cup for the first time, and of course that gives more opportunities to smaller teams, smaller clubs, like clubs from Africa, Oceania, and different parts of the world where some of the players in these clubs will never get to participate in a World Cup in their entire career, but here they have a chance to participate in the Club World Cup tournament for football clubs around the world to come together to get the likes of Mamelodi Sundowns and Al Ahly and Wydad Casablanca and ES Tunis. And then in Oceania, you have, and Oceania and Asia, you have other clubs that are going to be coming up against European giants like Real Madrid, Manchester City, and even recent Champions League winners PSG. So that's obviously is a pro for this competition. That's a mark, a positive mark for this competition, because they give it gives these smaller teams and the players of those teams the chance to play in a competition that is basically a World Cup, another World Cup just for clubs. So, and of course, under this list, the second one is, the prize money for this competition. There's a total prize pool of about $1 billion, guys. $1 billion. It's big money, right? And this money is going to be going to all the participating clubs, and of course, there will be a further $200 million plus amount that will be going to support football clubs worldwide. And something to note here, no single revenue from the Club World Cup will be going back to FIFA. That's what FIFA has said, not me. FIFA has come out to say that we understand, the complexities of this tournament and the concerns that people have, But one of the ways we are going to try to soften the blow is to make sure that the clubs get as much money as possible. And now what that means is that, the winners of the tournaments could potentially earn over $100 million, and then even just for participating, teams could get up to $30 million. And what that kind of money means for teams from Africa, from Oceania. It's so much big money for them. So participating in this Club World Cup, yeah, the European teams and players might have their concerns and everything, fixture congestion. But in this part of the world and for the African teams, it's a dream basically. That money will be so much investment. It's money that some of these clubs have never seen before. So it's such a big deal, and FIFA has pledged that no single amount, no single penny from the Club World Cup, from revenue gotten from the Club World Cup, will be going back to them. So all the money is going to the clubs, and of course, some of the money will also go to other non-participating clubs. That money will go to support club football worldwide in other areas of the world. So there you have it, guys. FIFA pledging that the $1 billion total revenue from the Club World Cup, not a single penny of that is going back to them. And FIFA has also said that the way that this money will be allocated to the clubs will also be based on different metrics. For example, star power, and certain clubs obviously are going to attract more audience, and are going to get FIFA more money from ticket sales, and of course they should get more. Like, obviously European teams should get more. It's just how it is. It's not, I don't think it's unfair, but I think they should get more. But yeah, I've seen the breakdown of how the money will be allocated, and it looks pretty fair to me. So yeah, so away from the pros, now let's go to some of the hot talking points, some of the hot topics around the Club World Cup, right? The first one, ticket prices. When this competition was still maybe 6 months away, FIFA, probably overestimated the popularity of this, competition, and they set ticket prices to going up to $2,000 plus for certain matches. And of course, the ticket sales were very low. And of course, FIFA had to review, and now I think as of now you can get tickets for the Club World Cup for about $300. The prices that FIFA set initially were not making sense to the fans. The competition was not attractive enough, and so FIFA had to bring those prices down a bit, and give the fans something more reasonable. And so that's about ticket prices. Of course, a very hot topic here is the participation of Inter Miami. Now, slots were allocated to different confederations and different clubs for the Club World Cup based on what I understand is the 4-year performance of clubs in all the confederations that will be participating. And now, but of course, in the history of the Club World Cup, the host nation has always had a club participating. Take note of that. Now, but the way that the club in that host nation gets this slot is that it always goes to the domestic league champions in that host nation. Now, in the US, there is a bit of a different setup in the leagues. The US have a regular season league, which is divided into the Eastern and the Western Conference, if I'm correct. And because of the size of the country, obviously, and then two teams win those, and then there are teams that win those leagues. But here's how they determine the champions. There's a trophy in the US called the Supporter Shield, and that's basically the team in the Eastern and Western Conference that has the most points. And of course, Inter Miami happened to be the team that had the most points, right? So, but of course, FIFA only announced that slot for the host nation club will be going to Inter Miami after Inter Miami had won the Supporter Shield, right? But now it's this issue came under more scrutiny when Inter Miami got knocked out in the playoffs, right? Because there's a supporter shield and then there's a playoff for the MLS Cup champions, I think. And they even got knocked out in the first round, which made people say, oh, if they're really the best team in the US, why did they get knocked out in the first round and all of that? But basically FIFA has said, this is the way we've always decided which club in the host nation gets the slot for the Club World Cup. And FIFA said the reason why this slot went to Inter Miami is because they were the best team in the league format of the club football domestic competition in the US. And so that's what's going to. Of course, fans and media have criticized this. They've said, FIFA, some people have insinuated that FIFA has a ploy to make sure that Lionel Messi and Inter Miami compete in this competition. People insinuating that FIFA giving handouts to Messi, or FIFA just wanting, the star power of Messi, and Inter Miami to help to bring up the allure of the competition in the US and all of that, and Miami being the host city as well. So, or one of the host cities rather. So it's just been an interesting thing. Personally, I don't really have any sides in this argument. I just think that I'm just here to give the facts, which I've done, and that's just what it is. FIFA have made their decision. I mean, so people always talk, and that's just how it goes. And of course, there's a very surprising one on my list here. I think a lot of you might have not heard of this, but there's some speculation that Cristiano Ronaldo, CR7, might play in the Club World Cup. As of now, I think he's still under contract with Al Nassr, but that's at the time of recording this video. But I think Al Nassr, I saw the news that Al Nassr is likely to I think his contract expires. I think he signed for 2 or 3 years, and his contract expires this summer. And I'm seeing the news that it's not likely at all that Al Nassr would renew. It's not likely that the contract will be renewed. And so Ronaldo. So guys, take note of something. There is a special transfer window, right, between the 1st of June and I think the 20th of June, where the member associations that have that's the countries that have their clubs participating in the Club World Cup are allowed to sign players, right? So this means that Ronaldo could potentially sign for one of the clubs participating in the Club World Cup. Take note of that, guys. So it's very possible you could see CR7 in the US. I mean, we've not seen him here in a long time, but I don't know, you could see him in the US playing for one of the clubs. So that's that about all the the hot topics, the potential talking points. And lastly here, I am going to make my predictions for the Club World Cup. And I'll start with the 4 African teams. That's Wydad Casablanca, Esperance Tunis, Mamelodi Sundowns, and Al Ahly. I hope I got that pronunciation right. And these 4 teams are all giants of African club football at the moment. Mamelodi Sundowns could have gone into this tournament as African champions, but they lost to Pyramids FC in the CAF Champions League final recently. So, but they're still a club, on the high at the moment. They've been consistent on the continent in the past 5 years, and of course that's the reason why they are in the Club World Cup. And of course, Al Ahly, if you're familiar with with African club competitions, African club football, you will know Al Ahly. They are the best team in Africa. They are like the Real Madrid of Africa. They are the biggest team. They are the best team historically. They've won the most CAF Champions League. So obviously why they are also there. They have Wydad Casablanca, who has also participated in Club World Cup before when it was hosted in Morocco. And of course you have Esperance Tunis. And for me, I think as for these 4 teams, I can't really say. I do think that there will be some upsets in this Club World Cup. And teams like Al Ahly, who have been to the Club World Cup before, I think all these 4 teams have actually been to the Club World Cup before, because they are giants of African football, like I said. So they're used to they are not strangers to the Club World Cup, although this is an expanded format, by the way. So um I think I have to tip Al Ahly. I think Al Ahly has played in the most Club World Cup, so they are the ones used to this competition the most. I have to tip them if I say any upset is going to happen. I think I have to tip Al Ahly. I can't really say upset for any of the other clubs because I don't really know. I think if the other clubs can capitalize on the fact that the European teams have, a lot of European teams are coming from really long seasons, with the fixture congestion that has happened in the past. Some players in European teams have played over 60 games consecutively without rest. So there will be some tired legs in the European clubs, and if some of these African clubs can have a fast start against some of these teams in the group stage, you never know what could happen. But I think an African club would definitely make it to the quarterfinals. At least, it will be bad if we don't see either of Al Ahly or Mamelodi Sundowns or Wydad Casablanca or Esperance Tunis in the quarterfinals. It will be really bad. I don't think it will speak well of African football because we should get to at least the quarterfinals. And that's that for me. I don't think any of them will win, but I think they will at least get to the quarterfinals. At least one of those two teams, even two, why not two? Even three, we can get there certainly. One of the African clubs has got to the final before. An African club has never won it, but definitely can't win it. As for the European teams, like I said, the fixture congestion is one of their biggest issues, and in general, how they adapt to the American pitch is also another concern and this is a general issue for all the teams now because the Club World Cup being played on US soil, a lot of American pitches are not made for football or soccer as they call it, so maybe some renovation will be done or something to make it more fit for football, but I don't know how that the players coming from different parts of the world would adapt to the American pitches, right? But I think the European teams will still show out. I think they will have a slow start. You might see a couple of teams losing their first games. It's very likely. The likes of PSG, who are going to be playing their first game on the 15th of June, just 2 weeks after the Champions League final. There's literally no time for them. So it's just so jam-packed. And I think in between the Champions League final and the Club World Cup, there is the Nations League in between. So players win the Champions League final or who play the Champions League final are off to play for their country in Nations League and then go off to the US to play. It's just so much chaos. That's why I said some of the European teams will have players with very tired legs. And I think that's where maybe some African teams or teams from Asia or Oceania can capitalize, and with a fast start, that can propel them to the knockout stages. So I think European teams will have a slow start, most of them. But I think they would eventually grow into the competition, and of course, one of them would certainly win this. There's no chance that the European team does not win this. There's no chance, zero chance at all. I'm not giving any chances for any fairy tale story, guys. The European team is going to win the Club World Cup. Nothing like no African team. Maybe African teams will get to the semi-final, or South American team get to the semi-final, but the European team is definitely taking this trophy. Don't get it twisted, guys. And of course, that means my overall potential winner would definitely be a European team. But who is it going to be? I don't know. I can't even say, because this competition is one like no other. There's things you can refer to in the past, but that was a much smaller competition with just 6-7 teams. This is so much more different. So you can't really say this is what will happen. There's no significant precedent to point to, right? But honestly, I would tip Manchester City again. Manchester City to win. I don't know. I think with Rodri being back, and if they make a couple of signings between now and then, I think Manchester City might see this as sort of a start to next season, because their last season was disastrous. They finished third, but they lost out to the FA Cup final, Champions League elimination in knockout playoffs. Just a generally bad season. But I think with Rodri coming back, Rodri coming back to Man City is like a new signing for them. The current Ballon d'Or winner, and a few signings. Pep might use the Club World Cup to rejuvenate that City team. So my predictions for the overall potential winner, Manchester City, to take the trophy. And so, guys, I've come to the end of another video, and of course, thank you guys who have been subscribing to my channel and sharing my videos, liking, commenting. Appreciate you guys. Of course, keep doing that. This video in particular, you know the drill already. Share to all football fans, all sport fans, and everybody. Like and comment on this video your opinions, if you disagree, if you agree, and if you have other concerns about the Club World Cup, or if you think the Club World Cup, any advantages of the Club World Cup you think you could also mention. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed, if you're a new viewer, and turn on my post notification so you know when I next upload a video. And of course, as usual, I told you guys I'll be bringing more videos like this, and so far I have not failed you guys. So guys, thank you guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.